All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next session is the poster video presentation. We will play all the videos that have been recorded by the participant. For this 1 hour session, we will have 14 poster video presentation. Let us watch the video of the poster.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Sana Iftikhar and I presented the topic COVID-19 impact on the future of education. Coronavirus or COVID-19 is a virus that spreads from Wuhan city in China. COVID-19 spread very fast and infected the people in different ways. This novelty means that scientists are not completely sure as to how it behaves since they have very little history to go on. COVID-19 pandemic continues to have a devastating effect on educational health and well-being of the global health. The COVID-19 epidemic affected about 1.6 billion students of school. Extended school closure may not only loss of learning in the short term, but also further loss in the human capital and diminished economic opportunities over the long term. Here is the main objective. First of all, the objective identify the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on social and education lives of students. Second one is exploring the learning opportunities during the period of outbreak. Have many researchers studied earlier in COVID-19 impact on the education in different ways, and I studied and I performed also. Statistical analysis were performed quantitatively. Sample size has taken or chosen 40 students of university in Multan. Questionnaire-based technique was used to determine student opinion, which source of learning is compatible and comfortable for their own in pandemic situation. Here's the framework of SIT for the impact of COVID-19 on student lives. SIT stands for Social Impact Theory that determines the impact of COVID-19 on student lives. COVID-19 pandemic, precautionary and preventive measures, aspects of student life. And here is the result. Student learning significantly as a result of global lockdown of education institutions. Aspects of online study and increasing social interaction among students in online education have considerable positive effects on student education life during the curfew period. The SIT framework was used to explain how the COVID-19 pandemic affected student life. The COVID-19 related interruption highlight key challenges and provide an opportunity to further evaluate alternate measures in education sector. The new policies and guidelines in this direction would help mitigate some of the negative effects and prepare educators and students for the future health crisis. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Olaf Committee and participant, IPSIR 4.0. Let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Sobri. I'm student PhD from Palembang, South Sumatra, Indonesia. I want to short explain my poster. The title my poster is the Design Science Research Methodology for Development of Mobile Heart Disease Application HeartM 3.0. My poster have 4 parts: introduction, problem statement, methodology, DSM process, and 5 pages. For introduction, heart disease is one of the world's leading killer with average of 9.4 million deaths per year. And the current issue of the highly prevalent COVID-19 is affecting most vulnerable people, chronic disease such as illness. And problem statement, there are three problems. The first point, software design of any mobile application often do not think deeply about the needs of the user. Second point, mobile heart disease applications do not support attractive communication between cardiologists with their heart disease patients and have poor usability. And last point, that many mobile heart disease applications which are available on Apple App Store and Google Play do not have the feature needed by the heart disease patient and not yet supported actively by cardiologists. My research use methodology, the design science research design, because focus on the creation of new and innovative artifacts. This is adaptation of science research methodology for this research. So until now, my state is phase 5. The final hard end 3.0. This is the SRM process. There are 7 phases. Sorry, 6 phases. This is ERD. This is sales of UE, evaluation of hard end. Last example of user interface hard end 3.0. Sorry if my presentation not clear. Thank you for attention. And Assalamualaikum.
Greetings to the panel that are watching my poster presentation today. I'm Yap Zing Yu. My poster title is Data Analytics for Facility Maintenance. In the past, our country focused mainly in infrastructure developing such as facility building, office, attraction, and so on. The main purpose to perform maintenance process is to restore and add value to degraded asset. There are a few challenges faced by the industry, which is lack of efficient facility management system, lack of support from professional organization, lack of maintenance tools to aid in maintenance process, lack of expertise, and inaccurate funding allocation to maintenance. There are a few objectives that we want to achieve here. To identify key performance indicator KPI in facility maintenance management, to identify methods to measure the effectiveness of maintenance process, and to develop a framework to compute the effectiveness of maintenance process in the facility. Moving on to the framework concept, we need to list out all the KPIs that is important to maintenance, and we try to converge it into fewer KPIs because we want to filter it, and then we will fit it into the framework itself, which is the maintenance process performance index. Throughout the 35 journals that we have read, there are more than 100 KPI used in the industry, and this is the result of it. The top KPI is availability and MTBF. Coming up on third is OEE, which is very famous in measuring asset performance. As for the methodology, we have to come up with a general equation to fit in all of the KPI, and then we have to assign a few variant, which is the criteria into it, and we will know how important it is for each criteria in the facility management, such as we have asset performance, we have maintenance quality, customer satisfaction, and maintenance cost as the four main factors. And this is the list of KPI that we have grouped into to measure each asset. And by using AHP, which is analytical hierarchy process, to find out what is important in a facility management. And as for the result, we collected data from the MOH department, buildings, to perform the simulation on the calculation. This is the fuzzy analytical hierarchy process. And then this is the result of it, which shows that how important it is for the facility to focus on each criteria. And this is the result of it. And then the result of it is 90%, which is okay, but we can look further in to increase the effectiveness of the maintenance by looking individually of the criteria. If we increase certain criteria, it will overall increase the MPI scoring, and then we can perform further analysis such as by using Z-score to compare with multiple assets, and then we can have a benchmark by improving certain maintenance process to push up the effectiveness of maintenance process, or we want to reduce the effort of maintenance to reach an equilibrium of maintenance cost and performance. And this is a dashboard showing all the KPIs in the data analytics. We need a simple way to display our data. Thank you very much. And this is the end of my poster presentation. Thank you. Bye.
Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. My name is Muhammad Azam bin Wahab. The title for my presentation is Evaluation of the SAR to SAR denoise method on various land use and land cover in Malaysia using Sentinel-1 data. Introduction. Each year, the increases of land use and cover change in Malaysia has impact on atmosphere, forest and water. And it is said that satellite imagery, such as optical and SAR, is useful to monitor land use and cover to get correct information. However, there have been few studies on the utilization of SAR data in Malaysia, because some users have trouble extracting, reading and analyzing SAR data. For example, salt and pepper, also known as noise, reduce data ability to recognize spatial patterns. Therefore, the purpose is to use deep learning to minimize background noise and improve image quality. Our concept is based on SAR to SAR method by Dal Sasso. It is a semi-supervised unit algorithm and to address noise-free reference for training and testing. For methodology, we use SAR from Sentinel-1 data on optical data from PlanetScope image, land use and land government as reference. At the end, we will evaluate both a result between SAR and optical. This is the result. On the left is the noise original image, and after we applied SAR to SAR method, on the right is the denoised image. Then we proceed create RGB force color composite to compare with the optical PlanetScope data. Clearly, we can see similarities on texture on RGB force color and also on PlanetScope optical data. For the conclusion, the result shows that speckle remove technique of SAR to SAR can produce image quality with better results. Texture like forest, waters and clear lands showed more details, even though it is just a 10-meter resolution from SAR to SAR imagery data. With that, I thank you.
Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to all Secretariat and also participate International Postgraduate Seminar on Industrial Revolution 4.0 ABCR. I hope everyone is in good health. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Nur Ismail bin Muhammad Shah from Putrajaya, Malaysia. I have 13 years experience in ICT during my career and also field in study. That should be enough here to present a little bit about my background. Let me start. Today, I would like to present my poster and the topic is about a study of sexual harassment, definition, factors, and effect in the development of prevention framework through mobile application. This research is collaborated with Dr. Noshita Binti Matnayan and also acknowledgement by Research Fund Distribution University of Kebangsaan Malaysia. Introduction and objective in this study, national education has now reached the 21st century era. All the general public should adopt a lifestyle and highly skilled and intellectual individuals. The success of country is not only centered of the economy. In fact, it is also supported by socio-cultural and civilized communication. Physical behavior are now a common concern. The existence of social media can fully show the general movement of an individual. The result of workplace general survey in Malaysia show negative things such as sexual harassment are now at alarming level. These cases are increased because of the population of female in organization is unbalanced. According to Wilson 1995, any behavior that lead to immoral activity can be classified as a negative behavior. Research objective. There are two objectives outlined in this study, a study of individual community understanding of the definition, and number two, development of conceptual framework. Then the result diagram shows at the poster. The proposed preventive conceptual framework. There is 5 chapters most important to develop the framework. First is about the special sexual harassment legislative act. Number 2, organization policy. Number 3, punitive measures. Number 4, awareness about the campaign. Number 5, victim protection during application mobile apps. So finally is about the conclusion. The societal scenario regarding the threats of sexual harassment has in fact long existed around the world. Although this has been attempted to be addressed through the development of policy and acts that have been prepared by legislature in country and compliance by the employer in the workplace. Even worse, the percentage of sexual harassment crime will continue to increase because there is no effort to eradicate of this crime efficiently and effectively. Therefore, the result of this survey have, to some extent, unveiled the question of understanding the definition of sex harassment and the propensity factor for the occurrence of the crime in question. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, this is Mustafa, and I'm going to talk about credit card fraud detection with machine learning, which is a process of data investigation by a data science and the development of a model that will provide the best result in the revealing and preventing fraudulent transactions. The information is then run through a softly trained model with decision tree. In our case, we use the 48 algorithm that finds patterns and rules so that it can classify whether a transaction is fraudulent or is legitimate. A decision tree is a structure that includes a root node, branches, and leaf nodes. Each internal node denotes a test on an attribute. Each branch denotes the outcome of a test, and each leaf node holds a class label. The topmost node in tree is the root node. In our research, we applied evolutionary algorithms such as genetic algorithm and genetic programming to evolve decision trees for classification. Evolutionary induced decision trees for classification is based on axis parallel method when there is a single attribute that splits the training data per node. Permutation encoding can be used in ordering of attributes as first function in evolutionary algorithms. In permutation encoding, every chromosome is a string of numbers which represents number in a sequence for nodes for each tree layer. Crossover and mutation are two basic operators of evolutionary algorithms. Performance of evolutionary algorithms very much depend on them. Type and implementation of operators depend on encoding and also on a problem. In crossover, a split section selected randomly. The first two units in parent string is switching crosswise with the rest of the other parent's string. In mutation, selected units are inverted between two parents to create new chromosomes. Finally, we test our model on a real credit card dataset with 25 attributes and 1,000 records by using web application. Results show evolutionary algorithms evaluated classification with higher accuracy rather than the greedy algorithms such as J48 successfully. As a final note, I would like to thank Dr. N and Prof. Singh in guiding me to reach finishing line for this research successfully. Thank you for listening.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hopefully everyone is good condition and healthy. I'm Rahima Ismail, a master student of the IR4 Institute University Kebangsaan Malaysia. Today, I will present my research poster titled A Preliminary Study Towards Designing a Thinking Skill-Based Model for Design and Technology in Primary Schools. Alright, this is my full poster. First, I want to introduce why I made this study. What's the problem and issue? The effective teaching and learning is able to produce students who are able to explore learning through a fun experience and equipping them with a variety of important skills and digital technologies in preparation for the future needs in the era of Industrial Revolution 4.0 and digital economy. The ability for students to think critically using high-level thinking intelligently and consistently is able to position them as students who are able to face the challenge of the 21st century and too relevant to meet future needs. The ability to think creatively and solve problems systematically is able to lead students towards more positive development. Design and Technology or RBT curriculum emphasize on knowledge, skills and work step for the production of a project with the aim of providing exposure to aspects of problem solving, generating ideas, designing and knowing how to use current materials and technology whilst developing a project to produce an innovative product. The primary school level, the emphasis on thinking skills and problem solving skills is less emphasized with the assumption that primary school students are still in their early stage. This phase is an important phase for researchers to identify problems that arise in RBT learning. My objective. In general, the initial analytical study KA1 and 2 was conducted aimed at identifying the needs to develop a learning model based on city skill across STEM for design and technology subjects, particularly in project development activities in primary schools. Literature review. The result of the study conducted related to problem-solving ability and thinking skill among school children, whether at primary, secondary, and tertiary level, still show low achievement. Highlights of past studies show that today's students are still weak in thinking skills and problem-solving skills systematically, creatively, and critically. Methodology. In this phase, qualitative and quantitative approach or mixed method has been used through survey, interviews, and observation. The validity and reliability of the instrument is done involving three aspects. Research design. Based on the first phase in the ADI model and to answer the first question on my study, involve preliminary analytical study 1, KA1, and preliminary analytical study 2, KA2. Study sample use a purposive sampling. 100 to 22 students KA1 and 4 students and 3 teachers KAA2. 4 criteria set in the selection of the sample. Their national schools, urban school categories, mixed classes of boys and girls and different academic background. For analysis data, in-depth transcription was done and descriptive data were analyzed using SPSS. Finding of the study. KAA1 results show through a questionnaire to 122 students, 80 or 65.6% state that they did not know how to solve problems systematically. 86 or 70.5% answered that they did not think deeply to solve problems, and 98 or 80.3% state that they did not know about city skills. While the survey related to the most difficult and less popular topic by students in RBT Year 5 shows that out of all the available titles, 82 or 67% of the students state that the most difficult and less popular project development title. The result of KAA2 analysis support the finding of KAA1 analysis. Teachers interviews, student interviews, and observations state that the topic of project development for RBT Year 5 is the most difficult topic to teach and master by students. Teachers say the student inability to think creatively and solve problems systematically. While student interviews and observation were conducted during the project development activities, state that they find it difficult to solve a given problem according to the given time because they are not able to think creatively and systematically. And the last, my conclusion, based on the finding of KA conducted clearly showed the need for the development of a design and technology learning model based on city skill across time in primary school, especially in RBT learning for the title of Project Development Year 5. Importantly, the 21st century needs to be developed in producing students who are able to solve problems more systematically, creatively, critically, and proficient in technology in digital economy era with IR 4.0 landscape. So that was my presentation this time. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Zaid Amin. I'm one of PhD students in Institute of IR 4.0 and my matrix number is P90515. I was supervised with my main supervisor, that is Associate Professor Nazlina Muhammad Ali, and the second supervisor, that is Professor Alan Smitten. In this video, I will explain the overview about my poster, which is I have submitted in International Postgraduate Seminar on Industrial Revolution 4.0. The title of this poster, that is Attention-Based Design and Selective Exposure Amid COVID-19 Misinformation Sharing. Overall, the content of the poster is about the issue of inattentive behavior when someone decides to share information, particularly on COVID-19 misinformation. The research questions in this study is about what actually main factor that affecting user attention when they decide to share information in social media, and how the technological interventions would be interfered user behavior when they decide to share information in social media, especially about COVID-19 misinformation. the issue in this research is also motivated us, which is the impact of large losses on the spread of misinformations, especially regarding about COVID-19 misinformations, because these misinformations related to the life and death in a person when they consuming incorrect information related to medical errors. This study aims to produce a model that can describe the selective exposure phenomenon amid COVID-19 misinformation, and also propose attention-based design in the context of human-computer interactions, which is expected to interfere user attention when they decide to share information. We divide the content of the poster into 4 sections. In the introduction objectives on section 1, we start with the data presented by Cisco, which states that the spreading of information today is very abundant and will continue to increase. And we also justify that sharing information with attentive behavior is very important. This is in line with study by Gavielkov in 2016 revealed that around 59% of links in Twitter were shared by users without even reading them. In this second section, we're using the theory of selective attention through the spotlight and zoom lens design techniques and crowd intelligence-based detection theory. In the third section of methodology, we using the tool that we have built for experimentation, and we call the tools Visual Selective Attention System, or VSAS. This VSAS is used to intervene participant attention when deciding to share information. In 4 sections, the results are: number 1, the selective exposure could influence user attention in handling sharing COVID-19 misinformation. Number 2, the studies reveal that selective exposure occurs when users encounter medical information, such as vaccine use in children. Number 3, research into attention-based design and how those designs would affect selective exposure on a user in sharing COVID-19 misinformation is required. Number 4, the attention-based design also implied that a particular strategy would suggest intervening selective exposure amid COVID-19 misinformation. Research using a hybrid approach to seeing COVID-19 misinformation with a unifying machine and human collaboration will be necessary. As social beings, devices have limitations in terms of individual and social interactions. So, to conclude this research, we assert that attention-based design is able to significantly influence user attentions when they decide to share information. So that's all. Thank you very much.
My name is Nurul Saadah binti Zawawi, PhD student from Institute of IR 4.0, University Kebangsaan Malaysia. I'm here to talk about the skills needed for women in Malaysia to compete in IR 4.0. The topic for my poster presentation is the IR 4.0 skill for women in Malaysia. The new development of the fourth IR 4.0 has introduced significant change worldwide, including in Malaysia. Moreover, IR 4.0 urges society to be more alert to keep up with this growing technology. With IR 4.0, the field of work has undergone a transformation with robots taking the place of humans. These transformations have an impact on all parties, especially women, such as loss of job and becoming more to find a new job. Therefore, to stay competitive in this field, women need to have skills that machines or robots cannot do. Thus, the objective of the research is to assist women in Malaysia identifying the specific skills required to compete in facing the challenge of IR 4.0. So, studies have been conducted to identify the skills required to compete in IR 4.0, and the result found that 10 essential skills are needed, such as critical thinking, creativity, complex problem solving, pupil management, coordinating with others, emotional intelligence, judgment and decision making, negotiation, cognitive flexibility, and service orientation. Okay, from the 10 skills obtained from the study, a questionnaire was conducted to identify the level of importance of women's skills in Malaysia. The study was conducted on the organization management level because they are more aware of the skill needed by its employee. Here you can see 25 respondents, such as the company CEO, general manager, manager, and human resource management level were involved. Data were collected through online questionnaire that developed using Google Form. Data obtained from respondents were analyzed using descriptive analysis. The mean and standard deviation were used to determine the significance of each of the IR skills required. Okay, from the table, you can see the level of importance of the 10 skills are needed. The results show that almost all skills shows a high level of importance. Okay, the study finding. Okay, lastly, the result of the study shows that each skill has high level of importance. It demonstrates that the skill dimensions are important for women to have to face the challenge of IR 4.0. However, the study only looked at 5 specific skills. As a result, the skills that will be used in the subsequent study are those with the highest score, which is emotional intelligence, critical thinking, creativity, complex problem solving, and people management. The study's finding will be used to create a prediction model that can identify specific skills that are required and should be present in every woman on an individual basis. So thank you.
Assalamualaikum and greetings to everyone. My name is Nur Najwa binti Muhammad Azim from Institute IR 4.0 University Kebangsaan Malaysia UKM. On this video, I'm going to present a poster for International Postgraduate Seminar on Industrial Revolution IPSIR 4.0. I am presenting my current research entitled The Difficulty Use of Predictive Model in Mental Health Problem from Diagnosis to Treatment. So this research is still in progress and some of the pictures are taken from the previous studies or research.
Mental health is not a new thing. Based on Center for Mental Health 2010, mental health problems have huge impacts on those affected, the social network, and society at large. In the early of 2020, the whole world has been hit by the coronavirus disease pandemic, or so-called COVID-19, making the whole country forced and being forced out of comfort zones and daily routines. Governments and companies around the world has responded to the COVID-19 outbreak by announcing a movement control order or MCO, by cancelling public events and closing offices. The spread of COVID-19 has a major impact on the world community, including Malaysia. So the average society is affected by emotions such as anxiety, fear, isolation, uncertainty, and emotional stress due to changes in living norms. This includes those at risk for job losses, loss of livelihood, and financial problems, or experiencing burnout. As reported by the media on November 18, 2020, based on statistics from the Royal Malaysian Police PDRM, a total of 266 suicide cases were reported from March 18 to October 30 last year during MCO 1.0. Suicide is something that can be avoided, so the community needs to be educated to be sensitive and identify the warning signs that occur whether on family members, colleagues, or anyone. Several psychologists and psychotherapy treatments can be given to treat the root cause of the problem if treated at early stage. To detect an early stage of mental health, the statistical technique is needed to predict future events based on the historical and existing data by using machine learning and data mining. By using the right tools in predictive modeling, it may help to define the data that has been collected if used the right method and algorithm. To define the best method to develop in predictive modeling, it needs to use collected data with the most accurate algorithm. Therefore, different algorithms need to be analyzed and then predict the most accurate model to use. Algorithms can assist mental health experts to apply the rules deduced by the algorithm for early detection of mental illness. Have you ever experienced difficulties when using predictive model to predict future events based on historical and existing data? By using predictive modeling methods can help to detect criteria of a person with mental problems at early stage. Early detection of mental patients can help to provide better attention and preventive treatment for the patient's illness. However, predictive modeling methods sometimes present challenges to solve and implement. Therefore, the objective of this study was to determine an appropriate prognostic model to identify the criteria of patients with mental health problems. Apart from that, the study is also to identify for the problems, challenges, and shortcomings of the current forecasting model. Now, let's take a look at the figure 1. So, figure 1 is the process of predictive modeling. There's a wealth of information on the web about this, but however, to understand the strategy areas, it is useful to break down the process of prediction into just a few essential components. Broadly speaking, predictive analysis and modeling can be divided into three parts, which is plan, build, and also implement. To build a predictive model, you first need to assemble the data sets that will be used for training, and then you must formulate clear objectives, cleanse and organize the data, perform data treatment including missing values and outlier fixing, make descriptive analysis of the data with statistical distributions, and also create the data sets used for the model building. So now let's take a look at the figure 2. So figure 2 shows the process to analyze different algorithms and identify the most accurate algorithms. So basically this framework has applied various algorithms to find the most accurate ones such as logistic regression, random forest, decision tree, XGBoost, neural network, and also support vector machine. So the first stage includes a screening questionnaire based on the survey that has been distributed to the respondents, and then respondents need to answer all the questions given, and the data that has been collected is gathered to be analyzed and pre-processed. So from the data given, it contains different labels such as age, gender, previous past mental illness, seeking help, past diagnosis, and also family history. So the data basically focus on the values in terms of an individual should seek treatment or not. Usually, most of the real-world data is incomplete, lacking attribute values, inconsistent, containing discrepancies in codes, or lacking in certain behaviors, and most likely to contain errors or outliers noisy. And data processing is a data mining method used to resolve such issues. Problems that arise often occur in the data processing, therefore it is necessary to give emphasis and appropriate methods to reduce problems in the pre-processing phase. Among the problems that often arise in a previous study are data related, where it can come from various data sources, data quality, over-cleansed data, old data, not enough or too much data, underestimate or overestimate data, model-related challenges, wrong algorithm, and model evaluation. So pre-processing is when variables contain redundant value, variables with more than 50% missingness, and also variables with no variance will be removed from analysis. So according to Matthew Dean and Minshew research paper, they use novel machine learning pipeline to reanalyze data from an observational study. Thus, the pre-processing pipeline will include creating dummy variables for ordinal outcomes, normalizing continuous variables, and single imputation for missing value. Then the data set will be encoded to numeric attributes for better prediction. At the end of this research, we will be identified an appropriate algorithm that can be used to detect patients with mental health problems at the early stage. Using predictive modeling algorithm will cause some problems such as in the pre-processing phase. Therefore, the findings of this study will solve the problems that often arise in the use of predictive modeling.
That's all from me. Thank you so much for watching this presentation video till the end. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome. This is the IPSIR 4.0 booster presentation. So, my name is Muhammad A. Ahmed. I am a PhD student at IIR 4.0, and my main supervisor is Dr. Hanif, and my co-supervisor name is Dr. Putri and Dr. Mahmoud. This is the title of our booster, K means versus K methods to cluster English tafsir text view of Al-Baqarah chapter. text mining nowadays become the most great and powerful topic to get the knowledge from the data. So our data for this poster is a text of Surah Al-Baqarah English Tafsir document written by Muhammad Sarwar. The objective of this study is to find the relationship and to cluster keywords of this tafsir using k-means and k-Meadows algorithms. You can see the framework or the procedure of our experiment. So first is to collect the data. Second is the pre-processing operations. Third is to get the weighting term. We use TF-IDF. Fourth is to apply the two clusters algorithms. Fifth, we use PCA. And finally, we visualize the result of the cluster and get the results. For the conclusion of this poster experiment, we found that k-Meadows outperformed the k-means algorithm by time and by the internal validation measurement of SC, CHI, and C index. Moreover, we found that the most frequent three terms for the Surah Al-Baqarah was God, then people, then belief. Finally, thank you for watching and listening for this short video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera to professors, doctors and fellow colleagues. My name is Anis Noasila Rosmi and my supervisor is Dr. Putri Nur Eliza. I am going to present on my poster titled The Development of Business Training Selection System Using Thematic Analysis. Let me start with the introduction and objective. COVID-19 pandemic has speed up the Industrial Revolution 4.0. Malaysia has become more digital, thus urging all entrepreneurs to make changes, especially to the business and learning. Courses and training have been conducted to make SMEs more competitive, provide a simple service and customer support system stated by Capio and Antonova. SMEs that have been operating for a long time have lots of experience in running their business, but they sometimes face difficulties in several aspects such as internal management, marketing capabilities, technological capabilities, and finance. This study interviewed 8 SME owners who operated their businesses in Klang Valley. The study is to identify a list of most important business training courses needed for SMEs. The data was analysed using thematic analysis method developed by Brown and Clark and adapted by Rosmi 2020. Based on the result from the researchers' interviews, it led to a framework of selection of business training courses for SMEs in Malaysia that have 5 main components, which are business management, sales and marketing, accounts and finance, ICT technology, and production and operations. These components shows that most SMEs choose to deepen their knowledge in the related field towards digitizing the organization they are leading. Method used in this study was interview. Respondents are the SME owners who have been conducting business activities for more than 4 years by selling products or offering services around Kuala Lumpur and Selangor, Malaysia. After the interview process, analysis is done by using the thematic analysis method, which has the process of familiarized with the data, generating initial codes, searching for teams, reviewing potential teams, defining teams, and finally producing the report. For the result, it was found that there are 5 main components of course requirements in SMEs. For the management teams, the sub-teams are management strategy, leadership skills, and human resource management. For the sales and marketing team, the sub-teams are place, price, promotion, and product. For the accounts and finance team, the sub-teams are cash flow, taxation, and asset management. For the ICT and technology team, the sub-teams are infrastructure and digital platform. For the production and operation team, the sub-team is anything related to standard operating procedure. To conclude, these findings are useful for SME owners and the top management who would be able to ensure the efforts and actions are taken in order to fully utilize the usage of finance and ICT to digitalize their business operation, and that the sustainability of their organization would be maintained. SME owners can make the right decision in identifying the needs for acquiring business knowledge in entrepreneurship courses. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nama saya Widianto, student PhD pada IPI, Institut Visual Informatik Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia. Penyelia utama saya adalah Dr. Musita Matayan dan Profesor Insinyur Reza Sulaiman. Pada poster ini, tajuk yang saya ajukan adalah Method of Text Recognition from Image. Di dalam poster ini ada beberapa bagian. Pertama, introduction, objektif, problem statement, metodologi, kemudian test image, hasil dan kesimpulan. Introduction, pengecaman teks adalah merupakan suatu hal yang sangat penting karena di dalam image terdapat berbagai macam informasi yang terkandung di dalamnya. Sehingga tetapi di dalam untuk melakukan pengecaman teks di dalam image pegun itu tidak mudah karena terdapat berbagai macam kendala seperti latar belakang yang terlalu kompleks dengan warna, kabur, huruf yang padat dan lain sebagainya. Di dalam objektif itu menganalisa permasalahan masa kini terkait dengan pengecaman teks image pegun. Kemudian di dalam problem statement teks image tidak dapat dikecam dengan baik karena berbagai macam kendala. Di dalam metodologi seperti terlihat pada gambar itu adalah saya akan menghibridkan sebuah metode di mana terdapat pre-processing, kemudian hasil processing itu akan ada text region extraction, kemudian hasil itu akan masuk kepada text OCR, di dalamnya terdapat raspi dan sudah kami codingkan ke dalam bentuk coding. Kemudian modul Arduino akan memberi kawalan kepada plotter untuk menghasilkan teks hasil dari proses melalui metodologi. Tes yang kami lakukan terhadap image setelah semuanya sudah kami koneksikan dalam bentuk yang komprehensif. Kemudian teks image yang dites itu akan dicetak oleh plotter. Hasilnya adalah dari tes image yang kami lakukan ada 4 image pegun yang telah saya tes, itu hasilnya lebih baik setelah dilakukan dengan metodologi yang kami usulkan. Itu terbukti bahwa dari 4 image ini menghasilkan yang lebih baik. Ada huruf yang hilang dan tidak terdetek oleh alat yang kami gunakan, akan terdetek menggunakan alat metodologi. Kesimpulannya adalah metodologi yang kami gunakan itu akan kami yakin akan lebih baik dari metode yang digunakan oleh penyelidikan terdahulu, sehingga teks yang berasal dari image itu akan dites, akan dicetak, akan ditulis kembali oleh plotter menggunakan kawalan Arduino dengan baik. Demikian poster saya, lebih kurang saya mohon maaf. Terima kasih kepada penyedia saya. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hi guys, I am Irna Hamza, PhD student from Institute of IR 4.0, UKM. Our project title is Virtual Reality Design for Social Emotional Learning to Enhance Emotion Regulation. Here is the full poster of the project. Virtual reality (VR) can be defined as user experience stressing the feeling of being present when immersed in virtual environment. The project includes 3 phases. Phase 1, systematic literature review. Phase 2, focus group interview. Phase 3, pre and post test. The use of VR has been increasing in many industries. However, the approach of the user context VR are very less developed for emotion regulation. The research are guided with a few research questions. How the design element for virtual reality can have impact in regulating emotion. The research objective is to design a mobile VR framework for SEL to enhance emotion regulation. Virtual reality concept was developed in the 1960s and the first commercial VR tools appeared in the late of 1980s. SEL are referred to the mechanism through which individuals acquire and effectively apply information, attitudes, and behavior. The research methodology consists of 3 phases. Phase 1, systematic literature review. Phase 2, focus group interview. Phase 3, pre-test and post-test. VR design element will be identified from the SLR result in Phase 1. The focus group interview involving participants among teachers in secondary school. The pre-test and post-test will be done to validate the data with participants among secondary school students. Questionnaire related to the application. As a result, the research will contribute a VR design for social-emotional learning in order to enhance emotion regulation. Thank you for your time.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the poster presentation for today. We will continue our poster video presentation tomorrow at 10 a.m.